welcome back to the deep dive. Today, you shared a truly wild collection of source material with us. We are taking a shortcut through three entirely different worlds. The mechanics of medical malpractice law, the theory of a perfect artificial language, and then the cutting-edge tech behind global customs enforcement.
It's the ultimate intellectual whiplash, for sure. But the mission is to find, the hidden architecture that connects these fields. We're moving from the structure you need to resolve a very personal conflict to the rules of a language designed to prevent all conflict, and then finally to the global frameworks that are holding together a multi-trillion-dollar trade.
And the unifying element, surprisingly, seems to be structure, specificity, this battle against ambiguity.
Exactly. Every complex system, it turns out, demands a rigorous, specific structure to function at all.
Okay, let's unpack this, and I think we should start with the most immediate and intensely practical area, navigating the legal world, specifically when something has gone seriously wrong with patient care.
Right. And when a patient feels wronged, our sources zero in on a really frequent cause for these malpractice claims. It's called failure to treat or premature discharge.
So we're not talking about some obvious surgical mistake here.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
This is more subtle. It's when providers, they dismiss or downplay clear warning signs, or they just completely underestimate how severe a condition is, or they fail to set up the right follow-up care after you've left the hospital.
Which, under the law, I think Minnesota law was cited, is a breach of the accepted standard of care. It all comes down to safe, medically justified decisions.
Yes, and if that duty is breached, you have the grounds for a claim.
So for you, the listener who might be feeling overwhelmed or maybe second-guessing your own experience, what did the sources say is that critical first step?
The advice was simple but powerful. If you believe something went seriously wrong with your care, seek legal guidance immediately. Don't second-guess yourself just because it conflicts with the authority of the medical system.
That initial gut feeling is important.
It's crucial.
Okay, so that leads us to the core strategic document in these cases, the demand letter. Why is this specific piece of writing so tactically important? It's not just a formal request for money, is it?
Oh, it's far more than that. It is the definitive opening statement. It sets the tone for every negotiation with the insurance company, with the opposing party. Our sources really stressed that the rigor and the structure of how you draft it is actually a tactical weapon.
Weapon? How so?
Because the letter has to be, and I'm quoting here, very factual and not about emotion or feelings. This cold, hard, factual approach is designed to completely preempt the insurance company's main defense stroke.
Which is always what? To discredit the person making the claim.
Always. Discredit the claimant or confuse the timeline.
So the goal is to establish instant credibility, undeniable credibility. You do that with structure. You included detailed factual background dates, agreements, services provided.
It's almost like forensic writing.
Yeah.
It's designed to manage the risk of litigation before it even starts.
And the logistics are important too, I saw it.
Paramount. Title it simply, like demand for reimbursement.
Right.
Always send a copy by email for speed. And then, specify if you're also sending it by mail.
It shows you're organized and you're serious.
Right, at the very start.
Okay, so if that structured argument doesn't get you a settlement, you move into the formal battleground of litigation, starting with discovery.
Yes, discovery. It's all about mandated disclosure, making sure both sides know what to expect at trial. No surprises.
And what are the tools you can use there?
Well, there are several highly structured methods. You have depositions, which are live sworn interviews with witnesses or the parties involved.
Okay, so you're actually talking to them under oath.
Exactly. Then there are written interrogatories, which are just formal Q&As on paper. And of course, requests for the production of documents.
And that's how you get the critical evidence like medical records, doctor's notes.
All of it. You could also compel physical or mental exams or issue requests for admission on specific facts to narrow down what's in dispute.
It sounds incredibly intensive. And for anyone facing that, the sources had some really good advice on choosing a lawyer. What was the key takeaway?
It really centered on communication. I mean, yes, find someone with a successful track record, ask about costs, but most importantly, find an attorney whose communication style adapts to your needs.
Ah, so the lawyer should be the one to change, not the client.
Precisely. They should fit your comfort level because it's a stressful, data-heavy process and you need to feel fully informed.
That makes perfect sense. A deeply personal relationship, even if the work itself has to be strictly objective. Now let's take that concept of absolute, unambiguous structure and just jump off a very high conceptual cliff.
Let's do it.
we've seen structure applied to resolve a personal legal conflict. Now let's look at how structure was imagined to prevent conflict across all of humanity by creating a perfect language.
This is our radical shift to Volapük, or as they called it, Pux. It was this universal language promoted in the late 19th century, and its entire philosophy was about eliminating the chief faults, or gled-off, of natural languages.
It's such a beautiful idea, isn't it? Strip away all the ambiguity, the confusing idioms, all the puzzling grammar rules that drive us crazy in English, and just create something mathematically pure.
And they absolutely touted that precision. They claimed it was brief, so it saved words, which was useful for the telegraph. And crucially, it was designed so that, and I quote, as each expression has only one meaning, no mistakes can be made.
Total, guaranteed clarity.
That was the dream.
And to give you a feel for this engineered precision, let's look at the active verbs, because this is where the structure just really shines.
It's an incredibly elegant, predictable system. Instead of irregular endings, you just prefix the verb root with a vowel to tell you the tense.
So if you use an a prefix,
That instantly tells you it's the imperfect or simple past tense.
okay, so the example was aphinosi, which means thou finishest.
Right. And if you want the present perfect, you just jump to the next vowel, E. So ijapim is he has got.
And the system just continues down the timeline, right? I for perfect, O for future, U for future perfect.
A simple vowel prefix defines the temporal context completely. No ambiguity.
It's the ultimate exercise in structural control, all designed to make human communication fail safe.
And we did pick up some other fun vocabulary like glein it for grinding, clink for war, and that great phrase, gled off.
Chief fault. I like that one.
Me too.
But here's the critical question, though. If Volapük was structurally so perfect, why did it ultimately fade away? Especially when a language like Esperanto, which came later and was less rigid, actually found an audience.
Well, the sources, by focusing so much on that absolute lack of ambiguity, they kind of hint at its own structural trap.
What do you mean?
That need for absolute clarity meant taking shortcuts that led to a vocabulary and a morphology that felt or deeply alien to most speakers.
So the structure became too brittle. It was designed to avoid the complexity of human language, but in doing that, it became divorced from the common patterns that help us learn languages naturally.
Exactly. It proved that sometimes a little familiarity, even a little messiness, is necessary for a system to get mass adoption.
A fascinating lesson. Okay, so we've seen structure applied to personal law and to a theoretical universal language. Now let's jump to the current world system, which is urgently trying to build a structure that actually works to manage global trade and digital governance.
And this brings us to the UN e-Government Survey and its key metric, the E-Government Development Index, or EGDI.
Which isn't just a measure of whether a government has a website, right? It's much more holistic than that.
Oh, much more. It's based on three core dimensions, three pillars, really.
What are they?
First, you have the Telecommunication Infrastructure Index, the TII, that checks the actual hardware and connectivity.
The wires.
The wires.
Yeah.
Second is the Human Capital Index, or HCI, which measures education and literacy levels. The people. And third, the Online Service Index, OSI, which looks at the breadth and depth of the actual services provided online.
So the wires, the people, and the portals.
That's it. And the sources note a really positive global trend. There's a strong correlation between better online services and an overall improvement in the EGDI.
The systems are getting better as the services expand. That makes sense.
But what's really surprising are the exceptions. The countries that demonstrate how necessity can drive innovation. The sources identified 20 low or lower middle income countries that have achieved high or even very high OSI values despite their infrastructure constraints.
Really? Like who?
Places like Uzbekistan, India, Bangladesh, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania.
So how did they do that? How did they leapfrog those common infrastructure hurdles? What was their structural advantage?
They often prioritize smart data architecture. Instead of waiting years for some expensive monolithic system to be built, they focused on modular, scalable platforms. They adopted a data-centric government approach from the start.
Meaning they see data as a core national asset, not just a byproduct of services.
Exactly, something to be leveraged. And to do that effectively, you need interoperability.
The ability for systems across different departments to talk to each other seamlessly.
And the leading countries are enforcing specific policies to make that happen. Australia mandates open standards for all its agencies. Shanghai found a really innovative way to share data across departments based on verifiable demand and usage.
So we also have to talk about the engagement side of this, the e-participation gap. The sources said that while lots of states allow feedback or complaints, most cities aren't really using traditional tools like e-polls or dedicated forums.
No, they're relying heavily on commercial social media, Facebook, Twitter, things like that.
We'll use that.
The sources suggest it's just pragmatic. Social media is cheaper, people are already on it, and it's easier for the city to deploy quickly. It's a structural shortcut to immediate engagement.
And we saw how this digital government performed under the ultimate pressure test, didn't we?
We did, the COVID-19 pandemic. That stress test showed how vital these digital solutions were. You had automated chatbots in Singapore and Estonia for information, apps to manage volunteers in Portugal, or even to report social distancing breaches in Bulgaria.
Digital structure became essential infrastructure almost overnight.
It really did. And moving from digital governance to digital trade, let's look at customs technology, because their structure is literally critical to the global.
Free trade agreements are all about facilitating trade, and that requires robust electronic data exchange.
Which is supported by the WCO data model.
And we should just quickly confirm for the listener, the WCO data model is essentially the international standard dictionary for customs data, right?
That's a perfect way to put it. It ensures that systems in different countries are speaking the exact same language about a shipment. Standardization is mandatory.
And that efficiency doesn't just rely on tech, but on people. And the sources pointed out a huge demographic risk.
A massive one. In some countries, up to a third of the civil service is approaching retirement. It's a huge continuity risk.
A brain drain, basically. All that institutional memory just walking out the door. How are they trying to address that structurally?
Knowledge management has become a huge priority. Serbia Customs, for example, is focused on capturing that institutional memory, on valuing experienced officials. China Customs is rolling out this massive training for all staff strategy. They're even using 4K cameras and 5G to connect classrooms directly to inspection sites for hands-on learning.
Wow, that's a huge step. And we're also seeing a strategic shift in enforcement itself, moving towards something they call holistic decision intelligence.
Yeah, Customs is moving away from just generating these long, static lists of containers to check. Instead, they're leveraging big data to look for patterns, time, geography, complex relationships that result in shorter, much more effective inspection lists.
So they're finding the structural weak points in smuggling operations more efficiently.
Much more. And the tech is boosting accuracy, too. Things like diffraction X-ray can identify materials with more specificity, which is leading to automated screening solutions that reduce the burden on the human operator.
And this all leads to the big future trend in screening, open architecture, or OA.
Right, OA allows components, hardware, software, algorithms from multiple different suppliers to be seamlessly, plugged together into one integrated solution.
That sounds great for innovation, but it also sounds like a massive liability headache. If a system has 10 parts from 6 companies and it fails, who's responsible?
And the sources are crystal clear on this. For open architecture to work in a high-stakes environment like this, one entity, the integrator, has to assume the single point of responsibility.
Total liability.
Total liability for the entire system's performance over its complete lifetime. The system can be modular, but the accountability structure must be singular and absolute.
That brings us right back to where we started, in the legal section. The structure of liability has to be unambiguous.
It's the same principle. And finally, on the ground, or I guess in the air, we saw the rise of drones.
Yes, the pilot program in the Port of Rotterdam.
Exactly. Launched in 2020 to detect intruders and incidents. It was about enhancing SPAP security and, crucially, reducing intervention time.
Because before the drones, every time customs staff entered a terminal, the cranes had to stop working.
They had to stop. Drones eliminate that friction. They reduce the operational bottlenecks.
So, if we step back from all this, from legal demands, synthetic languages, 5G customs enforcement, what stands out? I mean, what does this all mean?
I think, across all these wildly disparate sources, the journey has been about system integrity, about efficiency, and both are achieved through standardization and specificity, whether it's the objective, factual structure of a legal document, a grammatical rules of language designed to avoid mistakes, or the global frameworks needed to integrate complex digital systems. Structure is the fundamental requirement for navigating complexity.
So structure is the key to navigability. We started in a legal system that requires objective structures to resolve conflict. We ended in a digital system that requires universal, standardized structures to enable global collaboration.
Exactly. And let's maybe end with this thought, linking our two farthest flung topics.
Okay.
Volapük was promoted because each expression was supposed to have only one meaning, to ensure clarity and prevent mistakes. Now, look at the future of global e-government and customs, which is being built on this open architecture model, integrating parts from tons of different suppliers. That system requires one single entity to hold total liability for the entire network's performance.
So the question is, how critical is a system of singular, unambiguous meaning in a world that's increasingly run by these complex, multi-supplier digital networks?
Something to consider until the next time we dive deep into the sources.